Bright Duty. Every student matters.
Welcome to another lecture. Now, in the last part of my video, I had explained to you the third chapter of your book, Imitating the English Gentleman by M.K. Gandhi. We read how the chapter helped Gandhiji realize and understand the fact that learning how to dance, learning how to speak the French language, learning the art of elocution were all secondary. If one wishes to be a gentleman, then one can actually do that with the help of one's character. So one needs to groom one's character in order to be called a gentleman rather than doing anything else. So we are going to now discuss the question answers for this chapter. What food preferences did Gandhiji show? What was it that reaffirmed his belief? So what were the food preferences? As we had read that Gandhiji preferred eating vegetarian food. And how did he reaffirm? What led to his increasing confidence on the fact that vegetarian food was actually very healthy? He had read several books written by multiple authors, and they talked about the significance of eating vegetarian food in order to cure one's ailments. You know, Dr. Allinson, then Salt, and all these things only whetted his hunger for vegetarianism. Remember, this is the line, this is the phrase that I've taken from your chapter only. So, after reading the books written by these reputed people, he realized that eating vegetarian food was indeed the best thing to do. Why was Gandhiji's friend concerned? Now, Gandhiji was very happy with what he had decided. But why was his friend concerned? His friend was concerned because he thought that if he is going to remain a vegetarian, then Gandhiji would not be accepted in the English society. Neither would the English society accept him. So, both ways. Gandhiji would also not be able to accept the English culture, and the English society would also not be able to accept him. So, this was the fear that intimidated Gandhiji's friend. What did Gandhiji's friend do in his bid to transform him? So, in order to change Gandhiji, what did his friend do? Again, that was a very hilarious incident. His friend took him to a big restaurant, a palatial restaurant, and there, the reason why he took him there was because he expected Gandhiji to not ask any questions when he'd be surrounded by such polished people and to accept whatever would be given to him. So, this is what his friend did. Narrate Gandhiji's experience at the restaurant. What was his friend's reaction? So, what happened at the restaurant? The waiter was serving him food. The first course was soup. He did not know whether the soup was vegetarian or not. Gandhiji did not have the courage to ask his friend, so he called the waiter. But when he called the waiter, his friend asked him the reason for that. And with a lot of hesitation, he asked his friend if the soup was vegetarian or not. This made his friend very, very angry. His friend screamed at him, his friend scolded him that he is too clumsy for the decent society. His friend told him to leave, to eat somewhere else and to wait for him outside. So, this friendly tussle, now this is again a word which we've taken from your chapter only. So, this was the friendly tussle that we read about in this chapter. How did Gandhiji try to make up for his vegetarianism? So, what did Gandhiji decide to do in order to make up for his vegetarianism? He decided to learn three things. He decided to become an English gentleman. by polishing his, his physique, by polishing himself, and he decided to dress up like an Englishman. He decided to learn dance, he decided to learn French and elocution. How did Gandhiji decide to alter his style of dressing? So, what did Gandhiji do in order to change his dressing sense? He bought new clothes for himself. He bought himself an English suit from the Bond Street. He would wear a hat. He actually requested his brother to send him a gold watch. And we also read that he would adjust his hair in a very decent manner. What other aspects of British culture did Gandhiji try to imbibe? So, other than the dressing sense, what were the other things that Gandhiji decided to do? Like I've already told you, he decided to learn how to dance, to speak French and elocution. Why did Gandhiji eventually give up? So, what was the reason that gradually, after learning all these things, finally Gandhiji decided that he is going to give up on these things? That is because he realized that a man should become a gentleman with the help of one's character and not some dance or piano or elocution. Okay. List out the basic differences between the British and Indian cultures. So, in general also and with respect to this chapter also, there are multiple differences that we've come across. The difference between their dressing sense, the fact that they like to wear a hat that's considered to be very decent and very polished, going to expensive restaurants and theaters, learning to dance, learning a French language, learning elocution. All these things are not found in the Indian culture because in India people like to dress up and like to act as simply as they can. But henceforth I became a student. Why does Gandhiji say this and what does he mean? So this was the last line of your chapter, but henceforth I became a student. So till now he was trying to imitate a gentleman, an English gentleman to be precise, by imbibing in himself the various things that he believed an Englishman should know. But later on he became a student, He learned, like I told you, the fact that one ought to become a gentleman with the help of one's character. A student, to be precise, is somebody who knows nothing but studies, who does not pay much attention on his or her attire, the way they dress up, the way they walk, the way they speak, because the only thing that they focus on is the studies, is the kind of education, knowledge, information that they are getting. So this is exactly what even Gandhiji did. Prior to this episode, there were multiple things that kept him occupied. But later on, he understood that there were bigger things in life that he needed to focus on. He became a student, he learned law, and that is when the history changed. And with the help of his law, he actually helped multiple people in India, and he was the reason for the Indian independence also. Would you agree with Gandhiji's views on giving up attempts to absorb the British culture? Give reasons. So this question basically says that, Gandhiji gave up in the end. He just could not adapt to the American culture. So do you agree with that? Do you think that it is okay to give up? I think yes, I very well agree with Gandhiji, because if you don't think you fit into some place, if you are a misfit somewhere, unnecessarily trying and wasting your energy, wasting your resources, wasting your time in that direction will reap you no benefits at all. Rather, one should always try to do something which makes them confident, something that they think they are made for, and something that will add to their values and to their assets. The last question says, put yourself into Gandhiji's shoes. How would you feel in a similar situation? Write a page in your diary expressing your feelings. So this is a diary entry that you have to write, in which you have to put yourself in Gandhiji's shoes. So you have to imagine that you are none other than Mahatma Gandhi, and you have to express how you felt at that time, what all things were going on in your mind. How did you feel when you would go for your unsuccessful dance lessons or your French classes or learn violin? So this is what is expected out of you. And my dear students, we come to the end of this chapter. So we've explained to you the entire chapter. The back exercises, the question answers of the same have been discussed with you at length. I hope that the chapter is very much clear to you.